What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. In this video, I'm going to be previewing Fire Emblem Three Houses. Now, Fire Emblem Three Houses releases exclusively on the Nintendo Switch on July 26th. Now, normally I start this video off, or all these previews off, by telling you about how excited or interested I am in a game, in whatever game or movie or whatever that I'm previewing. And for Fire Emblem, you know, my path to talking about this game, my path of even being interested in this game, goes through ups and downs. This is a game that I'll be completely flat honest with you guys. I knew next to nothing about as far as a few days ago. Even a few days ago, I knew almost nothing about this game other than the game existed, other than the fact that I do know what Fire Emblem is. I know how popular this game not only had been, but how much more popularity this game has been gaining. Every single year, this game franchise gains more and more popularity, becomes more and more of a thing. It started off just Japanese. This game was not even a game that's like a Western region kind of game, and slowly throughout time we finally gotten here where I really feel like Three Houses is the first attempt and the first time that a lot of people, and I do mean a lot of people, especially people over here in the US, are going to be able to experience Fire Emblem. This is a really big release. This game is coming out at a really nice time, and this summer is really like the summer of Nintendo. If you think about it, we have Crash Team Racing that is released in June, which is also on the Nintendo Switch. It's not exclusive, but we have Super Mario Maker 2, which is Nintendo exclusive. We have Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, which is Nintendo exclusive. We even have Dragon Quest Builders you could consider, which is PS4 and Nintendo Switch. And we also have this game. So there are so many games, a lot of them only coming out on the, if you have the Switch, you're having an amazing summer at this point. And this is a very, different game. I think one of the things that I guess makes Nintendo very unique and makes this summer of these games very unique is that really all these games are for different kinds of people. I don't think if you get Crash Team Racing, I think if you get Mario Maker, I don't know if you're going to be the same kind of person that gets Dragon Quest Builders. I don't know if you get Dragon Quest, you get Fire Emblem, or if you get Fire Emblem, you get some other, I mean? I think they all really cater to very different people, but this game, I want to stop jumping around and beating around the bush. I've watched a lot of this game. I watched the Nintendo Direct. I've watched the extended gameplay demo. We saw the 30-minute demo. I've read about this game in terms of the story and in terms of everything about this game, and let me tell you right now, I am so interested and so into this game right now, and that's amazing because I'd say 2, 3, 4 days ago, in terms of when I'm recording this, I was not, I knew this game was coming out. I had considered maybe we would do a giveaway of this game. We are not, but I was considering it just because I kind of knew that this game was going to be a big-ish game, but I didn't know how big, and I didn't really know that much about this game. But now knowing it, this is a game that it's right up my alley, and it's different enough to just be that. It's just so different. It's so unique. It's a very different kind of JRPG. I love the fighting mechanics. I really love how they do the fighting. It's a little bit of a kind of a mix of a lot of different systems we've seen in Japanese games throughout time, but I'm really interested in it. And then just the story. Just these kind of games are chock full of so much content. It's a game like, I say, Persona, where, if you're not into Persona, you can just let these Persona games kind of go, come out and go past, and you see all these people talking about how amazing they are, but you don't really jump in. But then if you were to jump in, there is so much content in that game. There's so many things to do. There's so many relationships. There's so many characters. There's so much story. It's like 100+ hours. There's so much, and it's so easy to kind of just let it go by if you're not into it. Fire Emblem, it seems like the exact same thing. You can the whole point is you're a professor, right? And you choose one of these three houses, and you start the game in terms of like kind of like a peaceful era. You're just teaching, you're making these relationships, and then you come back 5 years later, and in terms of the trailer, in terms of what they talked about, everything's kind of gone to hell, and everybody's attacking each other, and the kind of like peaceful battles in terms of like learning things that you were doing 5 years ago, now it's all out war. And that is so cool. I mean, just the premise of that story sounds amazing, and the amount of content, again, in terms of teaching, in terms of leveling up all your students, in terms of building relationships. They've talked about how every single student has a story, and it's a deep story, and you can really get to know them, and you can really build relationships, and obviously the stats and the kinds of weapons, and again, the leveling up and all that stuff, and then on top of it, the really detailed fighting mechanics that are it's very strategic. There's a lot to it. But I also love that, you know, at the very end of the gameplay demo, they were talking about how if you mess up during the fights, you can go back to any turn in the entire fight. And that's so cool because, again, it could be very intimidating, a game like this, or this very well could be not only people's first jump into a Fire Emblem game, but their first jump into just this kind of a game, this kind of JRPG. And so you have to make it, you know, it's got to be difficult, it's got to be detailed, it's got to have all the things you'd probably imagine a game like this would have, but you also need to make it so that people that are just jumping in for the first time, or maybe would never go into this genre, would jump in, and you have to make it, you know, kind of peaceful for them. You have to make them feel welcome. And to be honest, it's kind of like that for me too. I don't really play a lot of these games. I do play Persona, I play games like that, but games like this, you know, this kind of JRPG, I really don't play. And this game just has that look that I really like. It's got the Persona kind of ish look, but I love the art style of this game from what I've seen so far. Again, I really like the combat. I think it's unique and yet, you know, kind of familiar. We've seen some games do things like this in the past, and obviously Fire Emblem games in general, but the combat really speaks to me. And then just the story. I know these kind of games, these Japanese games, you know, you have to read a lot of subtitles, and there's not a lot of talking, and obviously the voice work may be a little shoddy. Like, it's those things you come to expect, but these games also tend to have some of the better stories ever in gaming. I truly believe that. I'm not even making that up. Games that are these Japanese kind of games, so you have to kind of transfer and change and translate the words, you know, again, they're kind of difficult to follow, or there's just a lot there, but they maybe are a little bit simplistic, right? They kind of have cliche parts of the game in terms of storytelling, but they actually do tend to be some of the stronger stories you see in video games, and that's just countless examples I could give as to that. And I feel like Fire Emblem is one of those same things, just because of the kind of nature it is. It may be a little hard to jump into the story, but I guarantee you these relationships you make with these characters and the stories they're going to tell in this game, I guarantee you they're going to be special. It's just how they do it. They just find a way to do that. So again, very interesting game, because I'm not into this, and this isn't a game that a couple days ago really interested me beyond the fact that I knew that this was just a thing. And now that I do know it, now that I have seen it, somebody like me, I'm hooked. I'm into this game. I can't wait for this game to come out. And I think, again, you know, it's not going to grab everybody. This game is not going to sell, you know, 10 million copies. There's not that many people that are going to be. It's still a smaller-ish game that only kind of appeals to a certain kind of person. And even someone like me, you know, it got me, but I've also played some games like this before, and I am prone to jump into these Japanese games. Somebody like, say, Tyler really, who's a co-founder on the channel, he doesn't really play games like this at all. So I would never, I don't think, grasp him. And that's okay. This game is not going to be for everybody. I think you do have to have a certain kind of gaming taste. And it's not that you're better or that you have a higher gaming taste than somebody else, but you do have to be into those kind of games, or have that kind of part of your brain being like, I'm willing to give this game a shot. And if you are, I feel like this game is right up your alley. This is a perfect game. I think in July, again, there's really, it's all about Nintendo this summer, but after this game, really, there's just a Madden game, Madden NFL 2020, or 20 in August, the first week in August, and then there's pretty much nothing until end of August with Man of Medan. So if you're into this kind of game in general, this game can not only take up your end of July, but this easily has enough content to last all through August. So I think this is a perfect time to release this game. Again, this summer is the summer of Nintendo, and I'm very excited for this game. I'm very proud that Nintendo is able to put these couple months together with some really amazing games, and not just amazing games, but exclusive games to their console as well. So guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you think about Fire Emblem Three Houses? Are you kind of like me? Is this a game that you knew about but you weren't super into, and are you into it now? Or, you know, what are you thinking about this game? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel, Podcast Now. Hit that bell icon so you guys know when these videos go up, and thank you as always for watching, and I hope to see you on the next video.